Okay. We'll call this meeting in order. Welcome everybody tonight. First time in business, look back.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, everybody here tonight. First time in business, approve the minutes of the February 11th meeting. Got a motion?
I'll take a motion.
Motion by Robert, second by Jock, to approve the minutes of February 11th meeting, subject to corrections by the clerk. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, next is public hearing on proposed local law to add chapter 142 mass gatherings to the town of Warrensburg code to regulate mass gatherings in the town of Warrensburg. Ask the clerk to read the public notice.
Notice of public hearing on proposed local law to add chapter 142 mass gatherings to the town of Warrensburg town code to regulate mass gatherings in the town of Warrensburg. Please take notice that the town of Warrensburg will hold a public hearing at Warrensburg Town Hall, 3797 Main Street, Warrensburg, New York, at 7 p.m. on March 11th, 2026, to hear all persons interested on the matters of adoption of a proposed local law entitled a local law to regulate mass gatherings in the town of Warrensburg. If adopted, the local law would require a permit for gatherings with 300 or more people. Please take further notice that a copy of the proposed local law is on file with the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that all persons interested in this subject will be heard at this time and place. Thank you.
Okay, anybody wish to address the board tonight about the local law, please come up to the microphone, state your address to the board. Name.
Good evening, Janet Tolman, 15 Mountain Avenue. I am in favor of this law, but not as it is currently written. I want to start by saying I am a member of Indivisible Adirondack Saratoga, which was the organization that planned the rally that happened last June. We also have planned another rally for No Kings Over rally in Saratoga for this coming March 28th. There will be many, many protests across the country on that date. I don't know if you guys are aware of all of that, but our organization is, we're planning to do it in Saratoga. Initially, I think someone from our organization did reach out to Kevin, and that might be where the quote in the post-star came from for 3,000 to 5,000. And I do think that the rally in Saratoga will have that many people, maybe more. I don't think that it would have been that big here, but we didn't think that it was going to be 800 back in June. We had our signups were, I think, somewhere around 350 to 400. We had no idea it would be that big, but we were very happy that it went off mostly without a hitch at the rally. We took many measures to make sure that it was peaceful protest, that the people there had de-escalation training. We had rally marshals wearing vests and carrying pool noodles to keep the crowds off of the streets and out of the entryways to all the businesses. Our organization is all volunteer. Our footprint is in Washington, Warren, and Saratoga County. Our membership, it's hard to estimate. We think it's somewhere around 3,000 to 5,000 people. About half of them are in Saratoga County, about half of them are in Warren and Washington County. Our monthly meetings, we have about 200 to 300 people show up at those in person, and then we have an online component with another 200 to 300 people show up each month. Like I said, it's all volunteers. We don't get money from anything outside, and all of the money that we do have is what's donated at our monthly meetings by people who actually show up. There are other organizations like ours, both indivisible organizations and not, but have the same goals, including Indivisible Blue Line, which is going to have rallies in Scroon Chestertown and Lake George on March 28th. But they're skipping over Warrensburg, even though it's right in line. Let's see, there are going to be more protests throughout 2026. This will come up again. This is No Kings protest number 3. I expect there'll be probably one a quarter, but nobody really knows. So I do think it's not a bad idea for the town to have better, if not a permitting process, a more written down and standardized section of the rules for gatherings in the town. If for no other reason, so that this town staff knows what the rules are and can streamline that process for groups that want to protest in the town. However, this law as it is, I'm concerned that the requirements in it are onerous and are going to trigger a lawsuit. Glens Falls tried to do this in 2019. They got sued. As a taxpayer, I don't want to have to pay for the town's legal defense when that lawsuit comes. I have some changes that I would recommend. I get why you want the insurance requirement. No municipalities that we've worked with require that. And no insurance company is going to grant that. So if you have a requirement that nobody can actually do, that's the basis for a lawsuit right there. I think it would be helpful if the town looked a little bit more into what rules you want to have for protesters. And if the town were to, when approached, provide that list of rules to the organizations. Let's see. Also, if the town wants to put a map together of locations in town where protesting should and or shouldn't happen, that would be great too. That'd be very helpful. There are parks throughout this town, you know. Let's see. Fees. Generally speaking, I don't agree on charging fees for things that are in the Bill of Rights. That goes First Amendment, that goes Second Amendment. It's just, unless the town is providing a service like trash collection or putting up barricades, you know, I understand the town has people that, you know, have to be paid. So, but unless it's that, you shouldn't just have a permit fee just because you can. The number of people requirement you put in there is tricky because, like I said, when we did the first one, we had no idea how many people. We thought 100. We thought we would get 100 people. We were blown away when we got up to 200 people signed on online. And it wasn't, I mean, we didn't know until the day of that we were over 300. So trying to guesstimate, you know, more than 30 days out how many people you'll have, that's going to make it difficult for somebody to comply. Let's see. In section 5, and you don't have to answer this, but maybe just take a look at it. It says, it references something called this chapter. The board can, revoke the permit if this chapter is not complied with. It doesn't say what this chapter is or what it is that, what that would be. I think the whole thing, you should pay the money to have it reviewed by a constitutional lawyer, the type that, brings lawsuit against the town, so that we can make sure that there's nothing in it that is going to be hard to defend in court. And then I would say that you should look at what other municipalities do or have done. There are, I know that Saratoga has rules like can't cover your face. You have to stay 15 feet off of the front of buildings. Of course, they have wider sidewalks than we do. You can't hang a banner on a building or a car or a bridge without a permit, things like that. The other thing is that Saratoga does not require a permit as long as you're out of the streets. If you're on the sidewalks, all you have to do is give a declaration 48 hours in advance. That's it. So lastly, I just want to state that it is my firm belief that the Bill of Rights does not grant us rights. It acknowledges the rights that we were given by our Creator just for being human. And it is the citizenry that gives the government rights. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Anybody else with some justice?
Good evening. Excuse me, I get nervous, but I'm Sheila Minder and I live at 22 James Street here in Warrensburg. Ms. Tallman did mention some of the things that I was going to point out about the city and the problems that they had getting sued. I did a lot of research and there's not a lot of laws in New York about permits for gatherings. However, there's some precedents that have been set. And what I found is that most permits are only required when you're actually shutting down like a street, like when we have a parade, or a public area. When you're protesting on the sidewalk, it's very rare that they would request a permit unless you're actually shutting down a part of the sidewalk where other people can't get by. There has to be some type of a spontaneous gathering clause, so that if there was a spontaneous gathering that doesn't have a permit, you can't come in and say, oh, well, you owe us because you didn't pull out a permit. Well, we didn't even plan it 90 days in advance. Another thing that concerned me about what I've read was a government or municipality cannot single out a certain event. And it seems like every other event that the town has is being exempted, except for the protest, which doesn't look good. I mean, I don't like to see the town already being considered someone that's stepping on the First Amendment rights. And about the fees, I think she's absolutely right. The research that I came up with, and certainly Ms. White can correct me if I'm wrong, but I found in 1992, the Supreme Court said that they limit the amount a local government can charge for the use of public places, only including the cost to the government, and an insurance policy cannot cover any actions by anyone besides the people in the protest. So if a government employee, a policeman, does something, or an anti-protester does something, their insurance is not going to cover it. You can't ask their insurance to cover that. And the other thing is, what you can charge is the cost to the municipality. So yes, if you have someone picking up garbage, you can charge for that. The county, if they were to bill us for sheriff coming, then we could bill that. But if we're not paying for the sheriffs, then we can't bill that. You can bill for the administrative fee of doing the permit, but if you're paying $300 to have a permit done, then someone's getting paid too much. And that's all I have to say. You should have a permit. I have no problem with that, because one thing we need to do is set barriers in the sense of, like Ms. Tallman was saying, make some rules about how keeping the sidewalks clear and how close protesters and anti-protesters can get to each other. This is where you run into trouble when you have the two factions coming together. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm not nervous. I'm a little furious, but not nervous. No, I do not come here tonight to read a whole book to you. Okay? I'm a person that likes to write things down, and I did. So, when I first saw this mentioned in the news, I was horrified. Still am a little bit. Because I am not with any of the groups. I actually I have a strong sense of justice when it comes to human rights. And as she pointed out, our God-given rights to be human and citizens in this United States. So my name is Yvonne West, by the way, of 9 Mountain Avenue. I am a citizen of the United States and a residential citizen of here in Warrensburg. So when I see things like this, I get horrified and embarrassed because I think about the ripple effect that our small municipality can cause and how it's going to affect everyone else's right. And as pointed out by one of the ladies before me, we have to be considerate of the fact that we are going to now be looked at as the standard for rules such as this. Not necessarily the exact standard, but also we're part of it. So I want to cite that Warrensburg is not unfamiliar with overcrowding and hosting massive events here. I will cite the garage sale. I love the garage sale. I try to leave for it, but I love that it's here, okay? So this event, the garage sale, invites hundreds or thousands of people every year on these streets. They have experienced instances of turmoil that definitely is defined where it's disturbing the peace and the welfare of the citizens here. One incident that I will cite is the brandishing of a Nazi symbol that happened, I believe it was last year or the year before, I can't remember when. What I didn't see was anyone running to the drawing board to write down a law to restrict the brandishing of such hate symbols in this town. When I think about that, and I think about the fact that this law is even being proposed to basically, to me, stifle the constitutional rights of a group that was not here to promote hate, did not brandish any hate symbols, it infuriates me. So I did listen to my friend and neighbor Janet. We had a whole conversation about, because, you know, of course, I'm going to be very passionate about this. And she put perspective in my mind. And everything that she said tonight, I echo that. She is right. There should be some ordinances put in place that keeps things from getting out of control, and it maintains the peace and welfare of the citizens living in this town. So for that reason, I would like to propose an addition to this proposed law for Mass Assembly. The addition that I'm talking about would be called the Protection of Permitted Demonstrations and Public Assemblies. So the intention is to prevent unauthorized interference with a permitted demonstration or public assembly. Now, I'm gonna go through really quickly. I did write them down. If you wanted to just have them, I do have them here to give them to you. The prohibited conduct would be that it should be unlawful for any person counter-protesting within the boundaries or designated space of the permitted event without authorization. It should be unlawful for harassing, threatening, intimidating, or antagonizing participants in a manner intended to disrupt the permitted assembly. It should be unlawful to physically obstruct, disrupt, or interfere with the activities of the permitted event. And it should be unlawful to engage in conduct intended to provoke disorder, violence, or unsafe conditions among participants or attendees. The enforcement authority is on you as the town. I don't know about the fees, but I think it should be considered if we're going to call in a sheriff so that they can enforce these rules and also issue the necessary consequences. Additionally, if anyone were to be a part of any of these prohibited conduct, I propose that any person found in violation of that section be subject to a civil fine not exceeding $5,000, removal from the permitted event area, that goes without saying, and arrested if the conduct also violates state or local criminal statutes. It's important to state too, that in the United States, laws regulating protest, they must be carefully written to comply with the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Governments generally cannot prohibit counter-protest or any protest entirely, but they can regulate time, place, and manner to maintain safety and order. I found that just on a quick Google search about our laws here. So, with that being said, I do not think that it is I don't think it's crazy, sorry, to ask for these kind of provisions to be added to the law that's being presented. Now, I wouldn't be me if I didn't add my soul into this as well. The town of Warrensburg declares that this proposal is in the interest of protecting the peace, safety, and general welfare of the residents to ensure that public demonstrations and assemblies conducted under law permit, a lawful permit may occur, and it should be without harassment, intimidation, or disruption. The town finds that unregulated counter demonstration, they should find that unregulated counter demonstrations within or immediately adjacent to a permitted event will create unsafe conditions. It will increase the risk of confrontation and interfere with the lawful exercise of constitutionally protected activities. Furthermore, in order to protect the peace, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Warrensburg and to minimize the risk of disruption during large public gathering, told you I'm almost done. When a permit has been issued for a demonstration or a protest, a rally, a march, or any other mass public assembly, the permitted organization should have priority to use the designated location at the time permitted within their permit without any interference. The town should not be issuing any additional permit for a counter-protest demonstration or organized assembly within the same location or time period as the already permitted event. Any group or organization seeking to conduct a counter demonstration must apply for a separate permit at a different time or location as determined or appropriate by the town. So I'll end with saying this. If it is not the intention of this group, this municipality, this beautiful town, to stifle the constitutional rights of one group, then this provision that I'm asking you to add should be a no-brainer. Lastly, I took the time to create a list of countries that have restrictive laws for peaceful protests. I'm going to read a few of them. Iran, Saudi Arabia, China, North Korea, Egypt, Venezuela. The list is long and unfortunate. I picked those specific countries for a reason. We had our ancestors and forefathers came to this country and worked and fought and died for something that we have uniquely that those countries do not have. And it's a simple word, and it's freedom. The freedom that's protected in our Bill of Rights, and the freedom that this municipality should be protecting in their decisions every time. Thank you for your time.
If you'll leave us a copy of that. so we-
Happy to, yeah.
Appreciate it. Anybody else wish to address the board tonight? Anybody?
Hi, my name is Trish LaDuca, and I live at 561 State Route 28. Love Warrensburg and its beauty. And I was at the event in June, and I was very proud to be a member of this town. And I went around the whole block and thanked people for coming here and thanked people for peacefully protesting. And, you know, like I said, I was very proud to be a resident of this community. And I would hate to not be able to have that happen. So I like the suggestions that you've already been given, and I just wanted to, my husband sent you all a note. I wanted to make sure you got it and, you know, make sure it was part of the public record.
Did we get it, Kim?
Yeah, the end, I think, is good. I advise you and the board to carefully consider how to implement such a permitting process and to ensure that when any gathering occurs, protection of all parties is paramount, and the agitators should be signaled out and removed. But general suppression of the event is not appropriate. I also will add that after every event that we have attended, because we've been to Saratoga, Boston Spa, Glens Falls, Albany, and I think that's it. But anyway, many people stay in the community and spend their money there. So, you
Can we
know,
get a copy of that?
that's something-
We didn't get it.
he emailed it
We
to
gotta
you,
email it to us.
to every single person on the board via the website.
I got
You
it.
got it? I did not
Yeah.
get it.
Can we,
Sure, you can get this.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Anybody else? Anybody else? You wanna close the public hearing? Yes, no?
I'll make a motion to close.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Scotty, close the public hearing, we'll close the public hearing at 7:27. We can have discussion now on it, or we can move on to the rest of the board.
Well, it's fresh, you know, so we don't have to bore people.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the board? We've had a lot of good comments. I think some of them bear that we review them and maybe tweak what we currently have, and we can always table this and move on to the next time, and then re-advertise and get the public input. Probably won't be next month, but probably be sometime in June. And I want to thank everybody for bringing up very good points. We're caught off guard by the number of people. We received a phone message, 2,000 to 3,000 people. And then since that time, that's a lot of people to put on Main Street up there or anywhere in the community without having some knowledge. The last time they called, I didn't ask any questions. They asked if we could do it, and I said, sure. Just don't go on town properties, and it was not a problem. This time, 2,000 to 3,000 kind of shocked us. And so we'll look this over. We'll take a lot of this information. The one thing I will make, just respond to Ms. West, when that Nazi flag was displayed, we did take issue with that. And we've made sure that those type of things don't happen in the community. So we didn't sit idle. We did react to it, and I don't think you'll ever see that again in the community. So,
I apologize,
Okay.
I didn't see, so
well,
thank you for acknowledging that.
look, we are free speech. We do believe in free speech, but, the amount of people and a lot of good points were made tonight, and we'll sure take them into account when we make a revision, if we decide to make a revision of this law. But thank you all. You're all welcome to stay. We're going to continue on with our board meeting.
I just want to say,
Sure.
a lot of great comments, really appreciate everybody showing up. And I dug up this, as I actually know it by heart, but it's something that was instilled in my brain from school, but it's an old quote that says, I may disapprove of what you say, but will defend to the death your right to say it. That's plain and simple. That's clearly where I'm at with this law. I know that when we heard 2,000 to 3,000 people, or whatever, we started to get nervous. And certainly everybody's welcome to come and protest, and we'll find a way to make it happen. But we got to address the parking and not close down our merchants and cause any disruption to traffic to those people. And that's kind of where the one incident that we had the last time took place. So I think that that's easily navigated around, and we can certainly find a way to accommodate that. I don't think we need to go into a big to-do to make this happen. I'm going to just add a personal thing, is that in the history of the world, protesting has probably changed 0 minds, because we're all wired a certain way, and people drive by the heat, whatever, inclined to be happy with it, whatever. I looked at this law, like, kind of went back and researched the town of Lake George, because their big event, my favorite event of the year is the car show, and what they have to put in to control that. It's something that gets out of hand, and my main concern is to protect the taxpayers here, that we don't end up with damage to our property or a lawsuit, or either from somebody getting hurt or from parties suing because of the law they feel is wrong. So I'd really like to find a way to just, peacefully protest, and which you folks did. That event that they had, I don't believe even a gum wrapper got left behind from the.
No, it was good, and
It was-
surprising.
Yeah.
Many people.
It was surprising for Warrensburg, for sure. And those other events that you brought up, the World Tires Garage Sale stuff, those events do pay a permit, and they're up against all the garbage and everything that they created. They pay, even though you see our employees out doing the garbage, they're being paid by the Chamber of Commerce to do it. Thank you for your comments, and I think we're going to be able to find a resolution that doesn't alarm anybody.
Jock, anything to add?
I'm impressed that Councilman Reynolds remembers high school.
Robert?
I think we should just table it. Yeah. Discuss it some more, tweak it, whatever, but, everybody has the right to express their feelings, and, it was a good night.
Scotty?
That just reiterated what Brian and Robert said. My only other concern is that the problem with one of our town residents was physically assaulted at that event. And to me, that's a problem.
He was aggravating the person that did assault him.
No, please, no comments for the audience.
It happened,
For
okay?
clarity.
Not pointing fingers who started, who didn't start. It happened. One of our town residents was physically assaulted. And I believe possibly may have sought medical attention. That's a big no,
So
It's a shame that happened.
who wants to make a motion to table this?
Oh,
Brian, second? Robert? We'll table this and we'll bring it up again. We certainly will notify the public when we decide to do it again, okay? Thank you all for coming. We'll go on with the reports. Report of officers, town clerk.
Monthly report for February. Miscellaneous dog fees, $10. Taxes, $4. Certified copies, $80. Landfill fees and punch cards, $12,642. Short-term rentals, $900. Dog boarding and dog licensing, $127. Bringing the total local share permitted to $13,763.
Okay, supervisor report for the month of February, total monies on hand, $3,114,100.87. Assessor.
This is prepared by Gregory Klingler pursuant to section 501 of the real property tax law. Legal notice has been committed to the local newspaper, the Post Star, for publication on March 12th and the 19th for inventory examination. This is the official time where property owners can come in and examine the data we have on file, which will be used for the 26 tentative rolls. The date is scheduled for Thursday, March 26th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Although this is an annual requirement by New York State, our office is always willing to go over a property owner's information and view their partial data. reviews and inspections of parcels that have had changes made on them, i.e. new building, demolitions of old buildings, additions, partial slips, mergers, etc., that have occurred over the past year continues. March 1st is the cutoff date for property status. This is when changes to parcels are noted and assessments are adjusted accordingly to the upcoming tentative rolls. March 1st is also the closing date for exemption applications and renewals. As March 1st was on a Sunday this year, the application deadline was extended to end of business on Monday, March 2nd.
And then the Justice Department.
Okay. For February 26th, Judge Fisk had 74 cases, $5,003 in fine, $195 in fee, $1,700 in surcharge. Judge Carrillo had 80 cases, $4,622.50 in fine, $255 in fee, $2,109 in surcharge. Total new cases for February, 88. Total received, February, $13,954.50. Town share, $7,954.50.
We have no dog control report or landfill planning department, right?
We're having an unusually slow winter, so no permits being issued for the month of February. There are no planning or zoning board meetings this month due to the lack of applications. However, we did receive an application for a site plan review for Guava Leaf Juice Bar and Wellness Center, 3861 Main Street. That's formerly the Art Brown Shoe Store. And the planning board will be reviewing that application. Excited to see something good in that building.
Okay, enforcement officer.
Reviewed the sewer permit for the Schooner Road property that the town board looked at. Attended court with the owner of 25 Karen Street regarding running a wood for sale business in a residential zone. Owner was given an ACOD for 6 months. The property will be monitored at the request of the town attorney. Received a request for a mass gathering of approximately 3,000 or 4,000 people. I referred that to the supervisor. Issued 2 new short-term rental permits for 149 Elm Street and 23 Library Avenue. Renewed 2 short-term rental permits. Met with the owner of Meraki Barbershop regarding upgrading their sign. I advised him to submit a plan for what he wanted to do to Patty Corlew. Downloaded the new proposed mass gathering law and placed it in the file. Found 2 properties at Green Mansions renting short-term without permit. Sent them each an application package. Responded to a complaint of trees being cut alongside Hilltop Court. I visited the site where property owners were trimming trees along his property. The property owner has a right to trim trees on his own property. Check 25 Karen Street as requested by the town attorney for the ACOD compliance. Worked on a vacant property list for Warren County. I sent the owner of 3772 Main Street a court appearance notice for 2 violations, blocking the right of way with garbage cans. That would be the sidewalk, and using the garage for a site to store garbage. He is due in court March 18th. Attended the planning and zoning conference in Saratoga. It was time well spent. And the winter parking seems to be under control, and placing notices prior to it starting gives everybody a fair shot at compliance.
EMS report, they did 139 runs in February. And financially, they have $550,864.72 on hand. Let's see, beautification, no report. Historian, we got the report, we'll post it. Parks and Rec, Jock, do you have anything on?
Yeah, I've been busy cleaning up after snowstorms and doing maintenance on equipment and picnic tables, been cutting brush at the beach. And the parks also, fuel oil tank at the museum gelled up. We were able to thaw it out in-house. Respectfully, Tracy Benoit. Sewer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sewer reports, also from Jeremy Scroggins, town of Gadaway, sorry about that, came to our plant to do a tour and see how our sand filters operated. They were looking to install them at their plant. Took the broken pump from the county home pump station to pump services to have it assessed and get a repair quote. We have advised buying a new pump rather than having the old one rebuilt. Backflush pump station C due to uneven run hours. After the pump was backflushed, it was operating well again. One of the sand filters was not operating correctly. Pulled the airlift for inspection and found that there was a wear hole in the airlift. The damaged airlift was replaced and was previously rebuilt. Was replaced with a previously rebuilt one. The sand filter is now operating efficiently. Pump station B was not operating correctly. One of the two pumps was built up with rags and not pumping. Cleared the rags and the pump is working again. The pumps had again gotten clogged with debris. We cleaned out the debris and replaced the check valve flap in one of the two pumps. A hydrant had to be used to flush out the rags from the clogged suction line on one of the pumps. Received a call out at 5 p.m. for high water. Found both pumps were to be airbound. Replaced gaskets on a 90-degree elbow and got both pumps working properly again. Checked back on the pumps the next day, and both were running with even hours again. Respectfully, Jeremy Scroggins, and that's a lot.
Yeah, on the sewer report, we put out a notice to folks to be careful with their flushing down their toilets. And when we put out the report, our language in the report kind of spun up some of the townsfolk because we mentioned wells.
Not the sewer bills.
Yeah. But what it is, a wet well is what they call the pump stations. So our sewer, when we wrote it, we were talking about a sewer, and that choice of words got the public a little upset about it. Obviously, we don't want any sewer going into our wells, and it had anything to do with water. So I apologize for that. We'll be more cautious when we put out notices. But the one good thing about it is I want to thank the public for calling us because they were concerned. Because I don't do social media, but that was good because we immediately had some folks calling in and said, "What do you mean? We got to worry about sewer getting into our wells?" And then we read it over and said, "Oh." So we made a correction and reposted it shortly thereafter.
It was a little bit of a perfect storm situation because there was that sewer line break in Glencoe Halls that was dumping sewage into the river. So it had people alarmed. So I put a few fires out on that.
Yeah. Scotty, you got the highway?
Another busy month for us with record cold temperatures for a long duration of the month. We have continued normal operation of snow and ice removal on our roadways with no major issues to report. Our sidewalk plow is down for the time being. We ordered parts and they have arrived. Repairs will be made to that sidewalk plow, I believe, on Monday, the 16th. Our goal is to keep our 2017 MT7 trackless machine for at least another winter season before looking into a newer, different option. We'll be posting some of our roadways within the week due as we normally do this time of year due to the soft and wet shoulders. Respectfully submitted, Pete Maderi, Highway Superintendent.
Okay. Communications, received an email from Michael Bruce of Small Tales, early childhood and school age care located 89 River Street. Mr. Bruce is looking for some financial support from the town. We're going to review his request. We're going to talk it over and we'll bring that back to the town board at a future date. We have received a request from Warrensburg Daisy Troop 3931 to do a cleanup day at the recreation field, which we will approve tonight. We received a letter from Luke Archibald Duell about his intent to utilize the recently purchased properties up on Alden Avenue. He would like to place two new businesses on the property, Adirondack Peak Genetics LLC and No Water Ventures LLC. So when that comes to fruition, he'll have to go through the permitting process with the APA and also the town codes. Received one bid on tax map parcel 2236-1-3, 75.12 acres off Alden Avenue. This is on the right side of Alden Avenue going up. The bid was for $48,000. That's about $640 an acre. What's the pleasure of the board? That's the only bid we got.
Yeah.
Motion by Jack, do we have a second? Second? Second by Scotty to accept the bid for $48,000. Any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm not in favor of it.
Oh, one no, okay. Employee report, Robert, you want to get the employee report? I can do it.
You got it with you?
I got it. I got it. Everybody's over.
Yeah, probably not in the field. Oh, here it is, I got it. Employee of the quarter nomination form, Parks and Recreation. The letter says, I would like to nominate the Parks and Recreation crew for their hard work and devotion to the town of Warrensburg and its citizens. They tirelessly work in inclement weather to bring unsurpassed festive decor and modes of entertainment to our community. Our phenomenal light display and skating rink are just a few of many of their accomplishments. The board would like to thank them for their hard work and devotion.
Mr. Benoit, that's your group. We want to make sure they understand.
Oh,
things.
no.
And, I think the one thing that they thrived on this year is getting the skating rink back up over recreation field. I think Tracy has some ideas how to improve it for next year, and the kids' children did use it, so that was good. Let's see. Yeah. Resolution to approve the cleanup day by Warrensburg Daisy Troop 3931. Somebody want to make that? John, Brian? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Next item, I'd like to request to declare the 2000 Crown Victorian Ford as surplus equipment and put it on sale for no deals. Motion by Brian, second by Scotty to declare the 2005 Crown Vic as surplus. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. We also did a letter, are adding our name to a letter of support from the Lake George Association to ask the governor to fund the septic and sewer grant updates, more funding. The association has written a governor, and we are one of the, in the Lake George Basin. So we're lending our support to that. Now they ask that we do that. So we've agreed to do that. I'd like to set a public hearing for the next town board meeting on April 8th to discuss section 211-33 of the sign code and other changes to town codes. We do have several zone codes and codes we need to upgrade. I don't have the complete list, but I know the zoning code, or the sign code we discussed last month, and it's time that we address some code changes. So we'll schedule a public hearing at 7 o'clock on April 8th, if that's amendable to the board.
Yes.
Okay with that?
And now you'll get notices.
Yes. You're gonna get
To the town
notice.
clerk. It's not just section 211-33 that the code enforcement officer addresses, the whole article related to signs and zoning code. And also, not part of the zoning code, a different part of our town code, but the junkyard provision.
Yeah,
Propose some laws for that, so we'll do 2 notices for those.
we need to get that legal ad anyways, and we'll get it out to everybody.
One of that to you, okay? Supervisor, the motion, on accepting the bid proposal, so is that being authorized subject to permissive referendum, not resolution?
Which one?
The resolution,
Yeah,
subject to permissive referendum,
subject person.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I caught that or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So I wanted to make sure, okay, thank you.
Before we go into paying the bills, I have a couple things. Our court officer has left us, so we're actively seeking out a new court officer. The ski program at the school was very successful this year. Ms. Foster sent in a report. She's very happy with the amount of children. We had a total of 17 participants this year, which is up a little bit. And we are going to try to increase our donation. It cost the town $1,030 this year for the ski program. It's a good program. Gore Mountain gives them a discount on skiing there. We had more, I think, more participation this year than we had before. Obviously, it's run out of Warrensburg Central School, but it does include children from the town of Thurman. And I spoke with the supervisor over there, and they may be able to contribute so we can make the program more robust. Those are a couple of things that I had extra. A motion to pay the bills on warrant number 3. The bills on warrant number 3 are a total amount of $255,054.95. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Scott, second by Brian, to pay the bills on warrant number 3 in the amount of $255,054.95. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any public comment? Anybody wish to address us on any item tonight, please come up to the microphone. And just state your name and residence.
Tony Fortino, Alden Avenue, New York. Most of you people know me. I'm gonna ask you guys a couple questions, and if you wouldn't answer, that way it goes to the record. Scotty, have you driven up Alden Avenue?
It's been probably a month since I've been up all.
Brian, how many times you go up Alden Avenue during the course of a week?
20.
Huh?
20.
Kevin?
I really all.
Rob?
I didn't get a question.
I said, how many times have you people been up Alden Avenue?
I go up on,
You know where Alden Avenue is?
I go up there on occasion, my brother lives up there.
Okay. How about you? Have you been up that road since last fall and the year before that?
How far down you talk?
From 74 Alden Avenue all the way down to 418.
You tone it down.
Well,
We can all hear you.
well, my
Are you
voice,
talking down to the far end? of
I'm talking
Alden?
from 74 Alden Avenue to 418.
Well,
In other words, from the corner up to 74 Alden Avenue.
There.
The drainage is atrocious. It's been shown to the highway superintendent. There's a pipe in there. I've got enough construction knowledge, and I believe you do, Mr. Browns, that pipe that's in there is doing nothing. It needs a swale ditch in there. You dig that pipe out and you put a swale ditch in there. Water does not go uphill. It flows downhill. On that side of the street, the water comes down out of the driveways, which they've tried to divert. It goes down, and on the curve, it goes across the road. In the summer, after a major storm, the sweepers had to go up there 2 or 3 times to get the cobblestones off. If I come off that road on a motorcycle and I fall down, the town's liable. All the way down to 418. As you come from 418 up, you've got a DI, which is a drainage pipe. It's sticking 3 inches out of the ground. All it is pools water. Up where the old railroad tracks were, you've got Soil and Water several years ago under the other highway superintendent told them to put a pipe in with drop-in sanitary ditches. The ditches after every storm are filled. They're not pumped. A previous employee of the town took his own initiative, went across the top of it and put a pipe in to drain it into the swamp behind the railroad tracks. You go up there today or tomorrow after the rainstorm and you'll see where all the water is running. In the spring, when the water comes down around that corner and freezes at night, it's a hazard. Those things have got to be addressed from 418 all the way up to 74 Alden Avenue, both sides of the road. Thank you.
Is that near Phil Baker?
It's right there at Phil Baker's. It starts at the
Right
greenhouse.
across the road.
Well, no, on my side of the road, it's fine. It's where it starts from Markey's. From Markey's all the way down to 418. If you look at the yellow house on the left-hand side as you go up, the old attorney's house, Bob Farrell's. There's a DI, there's a drainage ditch right there. You can't even get to it because it's overgrown. It's got to be cleaned up. The whole road has got to be addressed for ditching, left and right, both sides of the road. Mr. Terrell's driveway washes out after that.
He gets a, no, first Carol, his driveway takes the brunt of it. And he put a little swale in, but it wasn't enough, and then he did.
We got it ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get it.
So these guys, an engineer go out and look at it?
You don't need an engineer.
No, I can tell you exactly. The,
We'll get somebody.
Well, I mean,
Need somebody with superintendent's highway.
We'll get somebody to look at it.
this problem obviously
good
has
news
been
though,
way
with that
before.
rain. we've
This
had some-
problem
we've had
was
some
way
melt-
before,
We've
right?
had some melting, and we've had some rain, and over in the King's Addition, I've got dry basements in all my places, so I'm hoping to hear from people, that we're, you know,
You won't hear.
it looks really good.
Anybody else wish to address the board? Now's your time. Please state your name.
John Delciello, used to run a vacuum shop on the north end of town. Been closed for 6 years now. My property's zoned residential with commercial use. I pay a commercial rate on my water bill. I barely use any water there. I'm not using it as a commercial business anymore. I understand that the town has a bunch of bed and breakfasts, and they don't pay a commercial rate. They just pay a regular residential rate. I'm asking to have my water bill reduced.
What I would do is come in and make out the proper form and write right on there why you want it reduced and get it to us, and then the board will address it next month.
Well, I went to the water department and they told me I had to come here.
That's what I'm saying. Here's a proper
I-
form to make out.
Well, she told me I have to come here. I've asked this a couple of times with her.
Please listen to me. There is a form you make out, ask for a reduction in your water rate, the reason why you want the reduction. We will get a hold of it, and I'll bring it in front of the board next month.
Her answer was the only way I could do it was to have my property rezoned residentially only. I don't want to lose the commercial.
Please make out the form, and bring it in front of the
And
town.
where do I get the form from?
I guess would be our water clerk.
She sent me here.
We'll take care of it next month.
And the other thing I had to ask was, Mr. Rounds spoke a couple of months ago about my property in the back there with the overseas containers on it. That the town,
You and I spoke to you.
yep.
Yeah.
Told me you'd look into it. I told you about the property was rezoned from commercial to residential.
I knew you were gonna
I was never informed of that.
I know, yeah, I don't know,
I mean, according to the United States Senate, there's laws saying that I should have been notified. And it should be a signed piece of paper with the town. The piece of property has 4 overseas containers, and now it's zoned residential. How am I gonna sell that? To what? You know, my other option is, do I take them 4 containers? Would you rather me make them into buildings and have people live there?
it's, I don't know why that got switched exactly when the plan there, and they went from, to try to call it more residential.
Was that the last, master?
It got switched. So he should have been notified. All the residents should have been notified, whether it's subject to cracks, I don't know. But,
It's one lot, right?
No, it's 2 lots. It's not on Main Street. This is one lot back from Main Street. They were commercial. I've been approved for a flea market back there. I was approved for commercial storage for my business. It's still commercial, I'm not looking to change nothing. I want what I had. Not, go behind my back and change everything and then,
yeah, it's,
now my choice is either go lay out some money for a lawyer. I can't see why this can't be settled.
and, I would think that if a commercial use came along that you wanted to do there, it's, I don't see it being, negated at all because.
So right now, it's the storage for my vacuum shop. My vacuum shop is closed, but I still got a large inventory.
It's, even though it's a separate lot, it's contiguous to the property that you own on Main Street. So, I'm pretty sure it's something we've worked with in the past, we'd be able to, you're not gonna lose your commercial use. And if you're certainly not using it as a commercial use right now, I think we ought to be able to address that water bill pretty handily, And I would suppose that you've hit, if it's just you there, I wouldn't think that you've hit your maximum amount of usage anyway, to even qualify for being charged, but
There's.
No, I've never hit the maximum there. I don't live there at the moment.
well, we'll get it addressed before you ever get to that point. Certainly, we've had,
And I've tried to get this straightened out for over 2 years now. This was supposed to be brought to the board, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And it was never went anywhere. I brought it to Mr. Garrity, shook my hand, told me, well, I'll bring it to the board for you.
Well, you have to make out paperwork.
I did do that. You told me to do that. I made you a piece of paper. I do have a copy of it. I came and handed it to you direct. I handed it to you directly. 3 months later, I got a letter back from Patty.
On the water bill?
No, not on the water bill.
No, I do water. The back office does the zone changes. We'll have to address it because we can't spot zone properties too. I need to make sure we're not doing that.
I was at spot zoned. It was commercial. Even before I owned it, the town approved it for a 2-car garage for 30 wits. So it's always been commercial. Them 4 pieces of property, the 2 lots in the back, the front house, and the next house up on Main Street was all on one deed. And then they divided it up. I wanted to divide the next piece of property, which is 11 Grand Avenue, which is 100 foot wide. 100 foot wide. No, you can't. She tells me I can't do it. She's got a real problem with me.
Okay. I hear you. We'll have to get into it.
Well, can I divide a piece of property like that?
You're asking the wrong person.
I think you could, and if it, depending on what you want to do, if you want to, the 100-foot lot that you got in the back.
No, it's 150 deep, it's 100 wide. I'd like to cut it in half, and all the other lots on the block are 50 foot wide. So
That's perfect, you have the right language. You meet the criteria that the rest of the neighborhood is, so even if in this zoning thing, where they painted it too broad of a brush in your case, you're totally eligible for, and it's a good case for coming in front of the zoning board of appeals if you had to do something.
See, when I went to look at the maps in the town there, they had everything that was residential was, I believe, was green. Everything that was commercial along Main Street was orange. But when you got to my 2 lots, it was a pencil line there. It wasn't green and it wasn't orange. So,
I mean, where are you living now? Where
11 Grand Avenue.
you're up there? Well, I'm gonna make a point, I'll get you the form, I'll bring it up to you, so you're not inconvenienced, we're gonna get that water situation straightened out first, okay?
The water bill, okay.
Okay, the water bill, let's.
I mean, if you come up to the house, you look on 11 Grand Avenue, there's a big slope there and there's a great big puddle, so you better bring your big boots. That Grand Avenue is in terrible, terrible shape. Right at my front door, it's a big slope, all the water gathers there, which goes all the way back down.
Obviously, we got some drainage issues with that, go around town, we'll have a look at it.
The other drain, if you want to continue with drainage issues, I got a sump pump that runs from across Grand Avenue underneath the ground. The other end of that's all flat. There's a creek that runs back through there. That's never been maintained. So now, yeah,
Needs to be ditched out.
no doubt ditched out and even dug deeper. I have a pipe that ran across there. Now, I can't even get back there to get in there to unclog the pipe. So it's back to the way it was.
Whatever we can do to save our roads from further damage, because those standing water hurts our roads,
That road isn't terrible. It should have been surfaced 20 years ago. It really needs to be graded down and then resurfaced, not just, they came around the other day, there's still water in the hole and you're throwing fill in there. What is that gonna do? You can't,
It does work.
yeah, that was 2 days ago. You had great big puddles and they just threw patch in it. No,
Brian's chair of the highway, he'll take care of it.
I'll look it up, and hang around, I'm gonna get your phone number for you, okay?
okay.
All right.
Thank you. Anybody
you.
else wish to address the board on any subject? Seeing none, I thank everybody for coming and a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that.
Motion by Brian, do we have a second? Second by Jack, all in favor, signify by saying aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. 8:05.
So on Friday at 10.
Is there anything else you want to add? Well, a lot of good comments. Yeah. A lot of real good comments. A lot of things. We address it. Try to go to this. So that's positive.
I don't know how to end this.
And escape.
Yeah, it's supposed to cancel.
Like telling you, I'm gonna tell him to be here for the April meeting down in Georgia. They tell him, tell you. Oh, don't worry, it's okay. Go ahead.
What about?
It was just about.